Varmt välkomna till dagens webinar, Microsoft 365 Certifications Demystified. A special welcome also to our international guest. First part of the presentation will be in Swedish, but I will then hand it over to our main presenter, Sasha Kranjak, who will then hold this in English. Detta är lite praktisk information innan vi startar. Webbinariet kommer pågå ungefär mellan ungefär 60 minuter. Vi har en schemalagd tid på slott på 75 minuter. Men det är utifall det dyker upp frågor och eller annat typer av, så är det bara att ställa det i chatten så kommer vi fånga upp er på slutet. Webbinariet kommer spelas in och kommer ligga på vår hemsida ungefär veckan efter. Veckan efter ungefär. Jag som pratar nu heter Viktor Ek, jobbar som Product Manager här på Informator och en av två som ansvarar för våra Microsoft-kurser. Informator, för er som inte känner oss sedan tidigare, har funnits ungefär 30 år lite drygt och är framförallt fokuserad på allt ifrån Microsoft till agila metoder och ledarskap. Vi har ungefär 800 kurser i Sverige och genom våra partners så tillhandahåller vi också andra typer av kurser som till exempel Red Hat, AWS, Cisco och så vidare. Normalt sett så tillhandahåller vi kurser i våra klassrum som ligger antingen i Göteborg eller Stockholm. Men via våra finska systerbolag Tieturi så kan vi även tillhandahålla kurser i Finland. Skulle det vara så att man har ett behov som är lite större så kan vi även självklart skicka ut en historia till exempel Sasha som ni kommer att lyssna på strax. Och komma ut till ert företag och hålla en anpassad version av alla era kurser. Mot slutet kommer ni få lite mer information om var ni hittar våra kurser. Men lite kort så kan jag bara presentera så här ser vår hemsida ut. Och är man intresserad av våra kurser så är det bästa man kan göra att gå in på Go. För det betyder att kurserna där har startgaranti. Och där kommer man då kunna se vilka kurser som garanterat kommer köras. Men självklart har man i behov av kurser så boka det som vanligt eller hör av er om ni har frågor. Så kommer vi självklart svara hur det aktuella kursläget ser ut. Och med det sagt då så lämnar jag över talarpinnen till vår huvudföreläsare, Sasha.
So, welcome and good morning. My name is Sasha and like Victor said, I'm an Azure MVP and long-standing certified trainer and MCT regional lead as well, and certified DC Council instructor as well as certification advisory council member lately. So today we'll be talking about Microsoft 365 certifications. We tackled the Azure certifications a few weeks ago, so you can watch the recording webinar. Also, you can find it on our Informator pages as well. And today we'll talk about Microsoft 365, which is actually Office 365, rebranded, but it contains also some other products as well, like enterprise management, enterprise mobility and security, and plus Windows 10. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And like Victor said, this part will be in English, although I don't understand Swedish and speak a little bit. But if I were speaking Swedish in this webinar, it would last like 5 hours. So to keep it like under an hour or an hour, so I'll proceed with English. So Microsoft training and certifications is a part of Microsoft 365 is a part of Microsoft portfolio, which comprises basically 3 tiers. The first one we tackled before, it deals with Azure certifications. The second tier, which we talked today, is about Modern Workplace, which deals with Microsoft 365 certifications and Windows and etc. And the third one is Business Applications, which deals with Microsoft Dynamics 365. So let's get started with Microsoft 365. This is the information provided today is actually actual today. Microsoft actually expands and develops and changes certifications, well, for the better. So for as of today, these certifications are actual. Tomorrow, some certifications might be obsolete or withdrawn from the portfolio or added to the portfolio. So, for example, we have one example here. This Microsoft 365 Teamwork Administrator is actually obsolete. You cannot obtain these certifications anymore because MS 300 and 301 are not valid. But all these certifications and exams here that we've listed are actually valid and up and running. And you can find all the information, detailed information, also on the web pages that we will share at the end of the presentation, the links as well. So let's get started with the certifications. But a few words about the certifications in general. So you can see the let's say three parts of certifications here. It's the fundamentals, which is actually the first one. That's the first tier. Usually the fundamentals carry the number 900. So in this case, MS 900 is the fundamentals of the Microsoft 365. For example, if it's Azure, then it's AZ 900, also deals with fundamentals. So when you encounter a 900 exam or course, that it means basically throughout all the portfolio that is actually a fundamental course. So in this case as well. Then we have the second tier, which is the associate, which is the actual second tier. The associate tier is the, let's say, middle tier that deals with management or implementation. In contrast, Microsoft 365 Fundamentals deals with, and for example, if we speak about the exams, then these exams will test you about the terminology, about the fundamentals, about understanding what each technology means. And when you go at the associate level and take the associate course and exam, it will test you and teach you and test you about implementation of the features and resources and services, and about the management of those. And then there's the third tier, which is the expert. That's the ultimate tier, and that builds on the top of the first two, which is in this case the only one, Microsoft 365 Enterprise Admin one. But anyway, then we have in the expert tiers, the focus is less on management and implementation, but more on architectural and design side. So while you don't have, well, of course, you have to have knowledge about how a certain technology works and how to implement it. The questions and the material that is taught on the Microsoft official curriculum course is actually about why we should implement a specific technology instead of how we implement it. So providing different possibilities, you have to pick. You will have to pick probably one of the, even let's say if you have 5 of them, you'll have to pick one technology that suits the best the scenario provided in the question. So that's the deal with the expert part. And with the associate part, it's about implementation, how it's some features and services, how these are implemented. So we have different fields covered in the associate part, which is the modern desktop administrator. And the teamwork administrator is actually not valid anymore. We do have messaging administrator, security, and developer and teams. And then at the end, we have 365 enterprise admin that encompasses everything, but we will actually see how this is set up and how the tiers work, and actually what it's under each and every certification. But let's go with the path for Microsoft 365 fundamentals. These are the skills required for certification. Then there's the associate exam, and then the certification that you gain when you take the exam. So in this case, for taking, if you take MS 900 and pass, you will gain Microsoft Certified, Microsoft 365 fundamental certification, and the appropriate certificate in the PDF format, and of course in the paper format too. And you will get the associate badge, which is verifiable, and so you can prove actual peers or potential employers that actually you earned it, because it's verifiable, and since it's issued personally to you under your personal account. Then there is skills required for certification, and then exam and certification. That's like the path toward the certification. But let's just say a few words about the exam itself. The exam, you can on any Microsoft exam. So if you actually want to obtain a certification by taking multiple exams, we'll see afterwards that multiple exams are actually needed for gaining a few certifications. Then for these certifications, doesn't matter in which order you take these exams. So as long as you have all the prerequisites for the exam, then you'll gain certification. There's no order prerequisite or requirement. So in this case, for the exam 900, it deals with cloud concepts, with core Microsoft 365 services and concepts, and you will be you'll have to know about the terminology and security compliance and privacy, trust, and of course pricing and support. Pricing and support is sometimes people say that it's not too important, but I think it is. It also we have pricing and support also extensively present in Azure exams and courses, because it represents a crucial part that we have to deal with now that we are in the cloud. Before we had our on-premises environment, and we had our computers, then which we purchased upfront, and we didn't care about the pricing and cost about the services that we run on these computers, because we invested upfront a certain amount of money, and we have these resources there available for us. But in the cloud, in Azure and Microsoft 365, it's all about agility and all about creating the services, and these services actually incur some costs. So it's crucial to know how the pricing works, and how can we actually generate some cost in Microsoft 365 and in Azure. Well, if you like, there's also a webinar tomorrow that will deal with cost management in Azure, but it's pretty much also applicable onto some parts of the Microsoft 365. So if you want to learn more about cost optimization, so you can join us for tomorrow webinar as well. Then there is the course details. So there's just one course. One course is Microsoft 900, which is which keeps the same title, Microsoft 365 Fundamentals, and there's the course ID, and it's about 1 day in duration. So don't be discouraged by the course ID. So if you look for them, so it's usually these carry the same number, like MS900 in this case, and there's also T01, but you can just ignore for now these. So if you want to identify which course belongs to which exam and to which course title, it's just the first part, so 2 letters and then 3 numbers. So in this case, it's MS900 T01. It means that previously there have been different modules. So if Microsoft 900 contained 3 modules, then the course ID, applicable course IDs, would be MS900 T01, T02, and T03. But now, since it's just one course, one module, well, it has different modules, but it actually is delivered in one package. It carries only this signature, so it's MS900. It lasts 1 day, and this is the course agenda directly derived from the Microsoft official curriculum agenda. It teaches 5 modules. It is the principles of cloud computing and 365 productivity, teamwork capabilities, business management, security compliance, and licensing and service and support. So you can see that all these modules are aligned with the course outline. That doesn't have to be, but Microsoft lately strives to align the course agenda with the course outline. So this is the pretty much a very light course and light exam. Although I wouldn't say that it's easy, because easy or hard, it's about exam. It's not fair to say, because if you know the materials, then it will be easy for you. So the persons that don't know the material, then for these persons will be, of course, somewhat hard. So, but I can say from my personal experience that these 900 exams are not so easy. So although they carry fundamentals title, they're not so easy. So probably if you don't study for it, and if you don't have experience with it, you probably won't pass. And that's actually what Microsoft actually did. So that's all right. So that's how it's supposed to be there. But it's not too hard, because it doesn't deal with implementation and management and design, because it's the fundamentals. So in this case, every fundamentals actually deals with terminology, so understanding of the concept. So like in here, you have to understand the concepts of productivity, of all the moving parts of Microsoft 365 that are here. So Microsoft 365 business management, security compliance, licensing, service and support. These are the moving parts, and then all the other exams build on top of these parts here. So for example, we have a special exam that deals with security, but not with the others. Then there we have a special exam that deals just with teamwork or productivity, and so on. So you can see that all the 100% of the Microsoft 365 is actually delivered in different exams. But we will see which are these exams valid as of date, and that build on the portfolio. So if you have any questions, just please don't hesitate to ask. Then there is the chat window available as well, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. So if you have any questions about these and about the exams itself, or about the how the courses are taken or exams are taken, then I'll be glad to answer your questions. So we have the first tier, which is also very popular, which is the Modern Desktop Administrator Associate, and you'll see that to gain a certification, this one, Modern Desktop Administrator Associate, you have to pass 2 exams, so MD100 and MD101. So like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter in which order you take the exams, so whether you take the first one 101 or 100, it doesn't matter. You can take any order of the exams, but unless you pass all 2 or all prerequisites, in this case 2, you won't be assigned the certification. But once you do, you'll get the certification on your transcript. So in this case, MD100 deals with Windows 10, which is actually part of Microsoft 365. Well, speaking of Microsoft 365, Microsoft has gone through different rebranding lately. So you might be, well, I was also some, let's say, well, not so confused, but actually we had to learn new names and numbers as well. So what was Office 365 now is Microsoft 365, but Microsoft 365 is not just Office 365. Microsoft 365 is the overall package, let's say, and it's the name and brand for what it consists of Office 365, which is emailing solution and another. Then it's also consists of applicable EMS, that is the Enterprise Mobility and Security solution, and of the applicable Windows 10 part subscription, let's say. So today we don't buy Windows 10 or operating systems on out of the shelves, but we just put in the serial number or license like we install it from the Office 365 portal. So it's the same thing. So we have Microsoft 365, which actually comprises of Office 365 and plus enterprise mobility plus security, and then plus we have Windows 10 package. So this is actually what comprises M365, what's comprised of. In the first part, MD1 carded, we deal with the deployment of Windows and about Windows itself, which is the current and modern operating system of today. And then in the MD101, we deal about managing these desktops, which is the policy profile, installation and application and data and so on. So let's just go and quickly take a look of what it looks like. So we have two courses. Each of the two courses that follows the certification is 5 days of duration. In these courses, of course, there's the theory, there's a practice. Each of the Microsoft course, Microsoft official curriculum, or MOC or MOOCs, consists of practical part and the theory part. So Windows 10 is 5 days, and managing modern desktop is also 5 days. And the applicable numbers are M100 and MD101, of course, and the exams are carries the same number. So let's just take a peek of what's inside here. So MD100 course agenda is directly taken from the mock course. It deals with, well, you can see that there are 13 modules spread across 5 days. It's pretty intensive, and it deals with installing Windows and post-installation configuration, then some updating, and then some also crucial parts and fundamental parts like configuration of storage, networking, and applications, and also very important authentication and authorization, etc., etc. Then there are a few words about supporting, troubleshooting the stuff in the operating system, which is the crucial part. And once we've done with that, then you'll probably take and tackle 101, which is the devices. And there you can see, well, like I'll just go back one step. So this deals with Windows 10 and about the operating system itself. This one, 101, deals with authentication, compliance, security, and deployment strategy. So it's all about pushing out the Windows 10 and deploying it out with different strategies. So enrolling devices, configuring profiles. So it deals with Windows 10 in the business environment, company environment, enterprise environment, and so on. So this is also these 9 modules span over 5 days. Let's just go quickly on the next one, which is the Messaging Administrator Associate, which is MS203. And then you can see that actually all the exams here in Microsoft 365 portfolio practically follow the agenda of the MS900, the fundamentals, like the parts that are addressed there. So we have operating system part, which was the previous certification, MD100 and MD101. And then this is the second one deals with more in detail with messaging part, which is the messaging infrastructure, exchange, and etc. Hybrid environment. And then after take MS203, then you'll be designated as a messaging administrator associate. So this is the exam in course that deals with messaging part, emailing and connecting on premises with the cloud and etc. So designing will actually in less part, but management and implementation for the most part. So it also it's quite intensive and it lasts 5 days. And let's see what's on. So this is the even more detailed agenda directly pulled from the MOOC, Microsoft Visual Curriculum course. So we'll see that we have multiple modules managing the transport pipeline. So you can see the in the second module mail flow. So this drills into the more detail, actually, how the things work and how you can troubleshoot, manage, and implement them. So transport services in mailing, configuring mail flow, which is also very important, or troubleshooting that. Some modules have lab exercises, some modules don't have, but it depends of how the course is organized. And you can see the next one also deals with security, with hygiene and compliance in the security and compliance center in here, and so on. So for example, yeah, like I've mentioned, module 4 doesn't have the lab, but that doesn't mean that it's not dealt with detail, because it is the these labs are not homogeneous. So while, for example, in lab 3 you can create hygiene filters and it will apply to module 3, but the others actually span different technologies in different modules. So if there is no lab in the module 4, for example, these are tackled and dealt with in different modules, because the environment here is very heterogeneous. Except if we don't speak about very specific part of let's say Microsoft 365. So don't worry, these compliance and security are covered in, if not in this course, then in the other course, definitely in, for example, 500, which is the security course, and that we'll mention right after this one. And the other parts that we deal with in this course is management of the organizational setting, like management of the authentication, or even incorporating mobile device mailbox policies and governing the mobile devices, which is very important today, because we know that today almost every household has at least twice the mobile devices as of the members, and usually the people also read their emails, company emails on the private phones or on the tablets, or even if they're not private, then the company deals with company-owned mobile devices that we have to deal with. And then there's also permissions and recipients object resources, which is also very important part. Management on the list and distributions, and at the end there's the planning of the hybrid environment. Although it would be ideal that all the companies over the world actually just get rid of their hybrid environment of the on-premises and go to the cloud. This won't be actually possible for the time being, and impractical. Because of the security reasons, because of the legislative reasons, because of the local laws, because we know that that the local data needs to stay locally and for the law purposes. And hopefully in Sweden here will be also some Azure data center, since Microsoft has acquired land outside Stockholm and in different parts in Sweden as well. So there have been some announcements and articles in Dagens Nyheter and in the other newspapers about these developments. So hopefully we'll see in the near future that there will be some data centers there as well. So we then will be able to host our data domestically, so not moving them outside Sweden or in the European Union. And that's why we'll still have some hybrid deployment, either in Azure or in Office 365. Hybrid is gonna stay here for a while, and because of that, then we have also some other connected services with hybrid as well, like migration or recovery and backup and solutions and so on. So this is also very, very important. Then speaking of migration, speaking of hybrid, there's also a module that deals with that. And it means, of course, if we have something on premises, then at some point in time, we might migrate these in the cloud. So there's a module 11 and 12 that deals with that, with perform migrations and deployment and troubleshooting, of course, in a hybrid environment. And then there's the security part. That's why the security part has not been dealt with in so much detail before, because there's a special designated security course and exam for Microsoft 365 as well as for Azure. So the Azure colleague that deals with the security is AZ500. So Microsoft has been consistent with numbering and naming. So the Microsoft 500 AZ500 is also security for Azure. In this case, we deal with identity and access threat protection, information protection, and so on. And then there's only one exam that we need to pass in order to become the security administrator. So this security administrator associate is a 4 days long course, and it's only one exam, and the course ID is of course MS500. So it's 4 days, but of course you can if you need any more days for the labs or for whatever, then you can probably also pose a question and deal with your local representative, with Victor or with anyone in the Informator that will help you with your specific needs. If you need more labs, or if you need a little bit more in detail of what's going on, not just in this one but in other courses as well. So the security deals with user and group management. It deals with identity and access management concepts, zero trust, and everything. There are also extensive labs there. There is the identity part, synchronization, protection, access management, which is very, very important. Active Directory, multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, very important part. We'll also say something about role-based access control in webinars this week as well. So if you want to learn a little bit more, then please, you're more than welcome to join us this week. And there's a special part with security in Microsoft 365 and threat protection, and which is very, very important these days. And Microsoft is strongly pushing toward the security. So by moving into the cloud, our part in securing our assets, it's not done. We've transferred part of the burden to the cloud provider, in this case Microsoft, but also we need to tighten up the security belt of the information of our assets as well. So for example, if we have weak passwords, or if we don't have multi-factor authentication enabled, that's not Microsoft's fault or any other fault than ours fault. So we need to deal with we need to do our part of security as well, and to do our part of management too. So this course will teach you about that, about security. and about the security features and threat protections in Microsoft 365, like threat management, and CAS, like cloud application security, and the security feature of features and parts of the mobility. So it's also very important to deal with that as well. Why mobility, you'd say? Because our private data is on mobile devices. So if our mobile devices are stolen, then the attackers or bad persons can actually get hands on the corporate email and corporate data and compromise everything. So it's also very important to secure mobile devices as well, because bad guys always, bad people always target low-hanging fruit. So, and unfortunately, low-hanging fruit or the weakest link in security everywhere are humans. So we people are the weakest because we are susceptible to the social engineering and losing devices and not following the security commandments and so on. So bad people actually know how to take advantage of these things. But fortunately enough, we have technology here that can help us to do that. So we have all the information protection, governance, right management, encryption that actually works for us even when the information is outside on our USB sticks or mobile devices and so on. So it's very important to know about that as well. And then there's also the, which is also very important because of the GDPR and everything, data loss prevention and compliance management. So from the legal standpoint of view, it's also very important to know about these things as well, like litigation hold and so on. So for example, what happens when you'll know about the things, what happens, how to deal with when people leave the company, and or if there have been some legal action on these, how to deal with that and be compliant and stand and follow the law in this case. So that's thought in the MS 500, which is security. And then the 13 and 14 is inside risk management and discover and respond, which also tackles with advanced e-discovery, audit logging investigations about the inner threats, and also about GDPR and being legal and compliant, which is also very important in this case. Then we have something which is also very interesting, which is the MS 600. This one is this course and exam is one of the latest ones that came out of the beta period status recently, and which is building applications and solutions with Microsoft 365 core services. And this exam is no longer in beta, and you can take it and prove that you can actually develop and extend Microsoft 365 solutions. It also lasts 5 days and deals with building applications and solutions. So it's about implementing Microsoft Identity, but not from the working part, but actually how can we implement Microsoft Identity into the different solutions. For example, if we have some application that we're building, we can then see how can we implement, how can we register that application, how to implement authentication to it, and how to configure and permissions in APIs and deal with Microsoft Graph as well. How in the process of the building these applications. So working with Microsoft Graph is also very important, which we'll be definitely doing if we're building the applications. Then extending and customizing SharePoint and all the things that SharePoint dealing with, like framework and web parts as well, branding and theming, and plus also extending Teams and Office. So we'll see that all the modules cover actually all the Microsoft 365. So we've dealt with Microsoft Graph, with SharePoint, with Teams, when Office, and the moving parts and extending and building on top of the existing solutions. So we can actually develop a lot of things easily in Microsoft 365, and as well as extend the functionality if we miss some, or if we want to have a better integration with some on-premises parts, or if we built, for example, a custom solution, then we can also learn how to integrate it in Microsoft 365. Then there is also Teams Administrator, which is also very important, because Teams is also a very popular platform, especially recently, and it has gained a quite good number of followers and users. Tens and tens of millions of users actually have, let's say, I would say, quoted, discovered. They started using Teams, which is a very versatile, easy to use, and comprehensive solution, which is getting better and better. I've been following Teams from since day one, and although it's not my primarily focus, I'm working with Teams every day. So it's one great platform that gets a feature, expands every day and gets better and better, and more functional, stable, and robust, and which has chat, calling, meetings, and policies, and complete environment for collaboration. So it's not just about chat, calls, and video. It's also about extending with external applications. It's about extending, for example, you can draw a whiteboard in Teams, you can share a file, you can share SharePoint site, OneDrive, and share files, and incorporate web pages in Teams Teams rooms, and it's a really nice platform, which actually this exam 700 teaches you about. It's also last 5 days. It's also very comprehensive, and we'll see that we deal with Teams in 365, implementing governance, security, compliance, which is also very important. So the security is, of course, important, a crucial moving part in every Microsoft product. You'll see that it will be more and more in the future. And also the deployment is very important, because a lot of companies also have not moved to Teams already, but using Link or Skype for business, and deployment as well. So all the things that you need to know about successful deployment are dealt in here. And then once you're in there, then you'll learn about the collaboration and management of the communication. So how to fine-tune you'll learn about how to fine-tune your Teams tenant, your Teams in Teams for successful collaboration. So there are many moving parts, many features that can be fine-tuned, so your company has a smooth and very nice Teams experience. Then at the end, there is also a learning path for enterprise admin expert. So here's somewhat different picture than we had before. There is one certification required here, so that's the one that we've seen before. So you have to have one certification before, which is the prerequisite for obtaining at the end this one here. It is retiring January 31st, so beware. That is it is retiring, and this certification was supposed to retire this year in August or September, but Microsoft extended the retirement date to the January 31st of next year. So it's good, because it's I think it's very nice certification, and very nice these exams and courses gives you a very solid understanding and fundamental knowledge about Microsoft 365. Then in this case, you have to have just one of the following here. One certification is just required. Plus, you have to take MS 100 and MS 101 exams. So you either need to take two these exams plus one or two from the previous certification. So once you have all the prerequisites, then you'll be designated as the Microsoft 365 Enterprise Admin Expert. So this is the expert certification. You might be wondering, wait a minute, so then there won't be an expert certification in Microsoft 365. So I won't confirm nor deny that there won't be or that there will be, but most certainly Microsoft won't leave a Microsoft 365 as a very important product without the expert certification. So watch this space, and I think there will be. I think there has to be some expert certification when this expires. So to complete the portfolio and to complete one of the most important products of the Microsoft portfolio as well. So I suppose it will be one expert even after that. So in this case, two exams are here that we need to take. Each of these exams are 5 days, or courses are 5 days, and the applicable exams deal with designing the tenant and configuring the tenant. You'll see somewhat that MS 100 and MS 101 overlaps with some modules with some previous mocks and exams, and that's good because MS 100 and MS 101 here have been before each and every certification that we had that we've seen today. And so these are the one of the first exams that became available in Office 365 today, Microsoft 365. That's why some overlapping is here. But since this certification and exams will be retired in like next year in February, there will be probably some other that will complement these as well. So for the time being, I don't suggest that you don't go and take these exams if you're planning. So if you're planning, please plan accordingly and take these exams. So when this date comes, and if you have Microsoft 365 Certified Enterprise Administrator Expert certification, it will stay on your transcript, so it won't be retired, but it will be valid as long as the product is valid. So it won't be retired. You will have that certification, so it's worth taking. So any certification is worth taking because it's. I'll suggest that it's not about the taking the exams. It's about what you learn when you actually studying for the exam, and passing the exam is actually a cherry on top, we would say, of all the things that you've learned so far, and that's the most important part. So you've learned something that's valid for you and for your employer, and of course you will stand out of the crowd and actually have something tangible in your hands to actually show to your potential peers and employers, and these are actually very, very valid because a lot of companies are actually looking for these. I won't say that one Microsoft certification might get you a job, but at least from the personal experience, Microsoft certifications did get me not just one job but multiple jobs in the past, and actually if nothing else, it will ensure first of all, you will learn about the things that you've been studying for the exam, and if nothing else, it will show that you have some passion, that you have will for learning, and then your CV will actually stay on the table instead of finishing in the recycle bin, let's say. As of today, I have more than 90 exams passed and more than 80 plus certifications, which is very good, because it's not all the companies look for all these. These I've gathered through multiple years, like 15, 20 years of taking certifications and passing exams. But at least you'll know your materials, your stuff better, and it's good to know, because it makes you better expert. And why is also that? Because it's today it's there's no homogeneous environment. So you cannot speak about the cloud, about Microsoft 365 if you don't deal with Azure, and you can't speak about Azure if you don't deal at least partially with Microsoft 365. Just one thing, Azure Active Directory actually is the foundation for both Azure services and Microsoft 365. If nothing else, it's for that. So it's the technologies are intertwined and built on top of each other. So MS100, it's dealing with designing your tenant, configuring the tenant. So you see there's some overlap of designing and configuring, which is actually designing is a part of the expert. And then there is labs about configuring the tenant management and as well, plus 365 overview and functionality and configuration of the deployments of the Office 365 itself. You see the older terminology like Office 365, which is now Microsoft 365. That's why this course is or this exam is this certification is being retired, but it's still valid. It's not just that it deals with something that's not here anymore, but it will be more tailored to the modern offering. So it will be less overlap if some expert will come in the future, and I strongly think that it will. Then there's the planning, implementation of the identity, as well as management of the identity environment, and also external access. So Azure AD, application proxy, and designing solution for external access. So it is about more about design and about architecting than about configuring and implementing. Also, although it says implementation and configuration, it is from the design part of the whole story. And then there's 101, which is the security and services, which is the Microsoft 365 security, threat protection, safe links, attachments, and so on. You'll see that, for example, some of the modules are here overlapping with MS500. But then there is also some other things like ATP policies and threat analytics and other things as well that are not mentioned there, like some different tiers of the data governance and from the architectural point of view, and about the message encryption, retention, and tags and policies and so on. So if you're about security, then I'd suggest that you take the MS500. But if you want a comprehensive view, then I'll suggest that you also take a look at this one as well. So don't just dismantle this one yet. Then there's the data governance as well, and also Azure Information Protection and Windows Information Protection that deals with this part of the information protection. and about search investigation, about GDPR related content, co-management, and so on, about the devices. And then at the end, there is also Windows deployment strategy tackled with. We've seen that we have a specific course for that, which is MD 101. But in this case, we are dealing just with the architectural part of the deployment strategy, dealt with security and with Office 365 in this case, and also implementing Store for Business, as well as with Intune and device management. This course, these modules deal with in more detail with mobile device management as well. So every solution here has available practice tests that you can take to assess your knowledge about that. These practice tests are written by subject matter experts about MVPs and long-standing MCTs, and there's one. I suggest that you go with the official endorsed Microsoft vendors of these practice tests. And also, I'd like to mention that there's also some offers with the like second shot or something like that. That means that you will be able to purchase for example, the exam. That will give you the voucher for the second try for free as well. So follow up the information on the websites as well, because sometimes these offers come and go. So it might be relevant that also it will just be available when you are planning to take an exam. So how it works? It works that you instead, for example, I'll just simplify. If an exam is 100 euros, or then if you buy a second shot voucher, then the second shot voucher will cost you 150 euros. So if you pass, then okay. But if you fail, then you won't be needing another exam that will total cost you 200 euros, but you'll have the voucher to take within the that you purchased initially. So at the end, you'll get the safety net, let's say, available, and the ability to actually go more relaxed in the exam. And if you, I'll strongly suggest that you actually take some courses and either on yourself and in the classroom. But one very good tip that I'd like to give you is that if you plan to take an exam, book an exam in advance. So it will, even if you haven't started learning yet. So even if you don't know nothing about the material, but you plan to take an exam, just book an exam like 3 months in advance. Why? Because first of all, you'll pay for that exam. That's first. So you'll give some monetary commitment to that, and second, you'll have the mental goal and mental date for that exam. Of course, exams can be postponed, but first of all, there will be always exam that is here available and scheduled. So you'll have it on your mind, and it will keep you focused on that exam. So postponing the exam and booking when you're ready, it's really unpractical. So probably you won't be ever ready 100%, for example, but that's not the point. The point is that you register for an exam in advance, take a look at the courses and the options, and start learning. And one thing about the exams, the generic, not just about the Microsoft 365, but about any, the pass rate for the exams is 700, and you have to have more than 700. So if you have 699 points, then you fail. If you have 700, you'll pass. And then the points go from 300 to 1000, meaning 1000 is a perfect score, and the 300 is the lowest score that you can get, but you need more than 700 to pass. 700 is not the same as 70% because it's not a percentage of the exam of the exams of the items that you've answered correctly, but actually each exam item carries different weight and different points, let's say. So one exam item might, I'm just making things up because no one actually knows how many points which question has, but let's say if some question has like 5 points, the other might have 15. So you can you might even pass the exam even if you answered less than 50% of the questions, but if you answered on more harder questions, then probably, or the questions that have more points, you will probably accumulate more and thus pass. So aim to be as correct as possible. You can go also back and forth in the exams on some places, and take your time. Some exams, non-English native speakers can get also 30 minutes more. So whether you finish the exam in an hour or in 2.5 hours, it doesn't matter. Take your time. You have the watch here, usually on the upper right corner. When you take exam, then you'll see the allotted time and the remaining time. So take your time, go back and forth, designate, well, check the exams that you're not for, check the items that you don't know, that you're not sure about the answer right now. Then, and these can you can tackle them at the end of the exam, so you can review them lately, and be sure that actually read the exam question entirely. And sometimes there are case studies which are like a text with a specific case study, which is the story about the company that has to do something, and then the questions will actually test you about the specific case, and there are no made up things in questions. So that's the one of the rule of the Microsoft exams. There are no some made up terms or features that are there. So everything that you encounter there is valid and existing in the existing solutions. So the answer is there, and just look for that and read carefully, and you'll be able to pass. And of course, book an exam in advance. That's the one of the most important things. And if you have any questions, please just you can type in the chat, and please feel free anything to ask anything if you'd like. But I'll give the word to Victor now to say a few words, closing words again, and then meanwhile we'll hang still here, so you can ask if you have any question. Please don't hesitate.
We do have a question, Sasha, so we might as well
take
it right away.
Okay.
So the question is, and I will translate it for you. Let's see. So what happens if you take the Enterprise Admin Expert cert after the 31st of January? You keep the certification, but it's not active?
Oh, you mean this one? Okay. So the one that expired, yes. So when the certification is expired, you won't be able to book an exam. So actually, you cannot obtain it anymore. So once the 31st January is here, you won't be able to take either MS 100 or MS 101. So that's how they actually retiring them. So if you go online or if you go at the testing center, there won't be option to book MS 100 and 101s. But if you take, for example, on January 29th, you take one exam and you take the other on the January 31st. Then when 1st February comes, then if you pass these exams, then you'll have the this certification on your transcript forever. But if you pass just one exam and then try to book an exam on February 1st, there won't be exam to book on the list. They will just retire it.